ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರ ಒಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು ಏರಿಯಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟಿಂಗ್. ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಈಸ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ವಂಡರಿಂಗ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಡೂ ದ ಪೇರೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಜಾಬ್. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶೋಭಾ ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್. ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಹರ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ಸ್. ಎ ಸೈಕ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್. ನಾನು ಅವರನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶೋಭಾ ಶ್ರೀನಾಥ್.
Good afternoon. Am I too loud? All right? Yeah. It gives me great pleasure to come here today. ಭಾಳ ಸಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಶಿವಮೊಗ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಬರೋದು ಇಷ್ಟ. I have friends here and I want to thank Rotary, Dr. Narayan, Mr. Srinath, Ravindra Kumar, a whole host of you have been very, very hospitable. It's my pleasure to be here today. It's 5 o'clock. I am here for about half an hour. I would like the chairperson to remind me when I have 5 minutes more, sir, so that I don't delay you from your lunch. You all have been waiting very patiently. So I thought I would spend a little time, because the topic asked was parenting and child development. Usually, when the session start madakinta munche, what is the aim of the session anta helteve. But here I want to say, what is the aim of our bringing up children? What do we want our children to be? Enagbeku avaru. We want to support each child in the child's development. And the important thing is, we want the child to have academic skills, but also independent living skills. And the last point I have mentioned there is that the child must be reasonably happy. It is not possible for all of us to be happy at all times. Not possible. They should be reasonably happy, because they have to know how to face disappointment. They have to know how to react to disappointment, how to come out of it, how to wait for gratification. ಈಗ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು, ಬಟ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಈಗ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ವೇಟ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ಹೌ ಟು ವೇಟ್, ಟು ಡಿನೈ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ವ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸಮ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಗೇನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ? ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? There has been a change in the attitude, in the role of the father and mother. Mothers will go to work. There is a lot of stress in the families. Education and academic achievement ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಮಹತ್ವ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು, ಹೀಗೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. We now know that children are of different kinds. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಸ್ವಾಭಾವಿಕವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬಹಳ ಸೌಮ್ಯ, ಕೆಲವು ಜೋರು, ಕೋಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, ಕೋಪ ಕಮ್ಮಿ, ಭಾಳ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಕೆಲವರು. ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಬಾರ್ನ್ ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೆಂಪರಮೆಂಟ್. ದೇರ್ ನೇಚರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕು. ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ನೌ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ವೆರ್ ಯಂಗ್. ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ screen activity, television, mobile, pads, notebooks. Children have the whole world in their sitting room. You can't control always. So it's hard to bring up children in these modern times. There's only one child in the family, sometimes only one parent in the family, very small family. My parents brought up their children based on how their mother brought them up. But in the modern world, the way we were brought up is different from the way we are bringing up our children. We don't have any template. ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ, ಆವಾಗ ಟಿ ವಿ ಇತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಟಿ ವಿ ಇದೆ, ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಮಗುಗೆ ಇದು ಹೊಸದು, ನನಗೂ ಹೊಸದು, ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಗೂ ಹೊಸದು, ಮಗುಗೂ ಹೊಸದು. ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಟೆಂಪ್ಲೇಟ್. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ವೇ. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ. And then there are parenting in very difficult circumstances. Many children are no longer in their childhood. When they are small itself, they are faced with terrible adversity. So they have no childhood. Enaitu? Okay. So I would like to ask you here, how many of you believe that ನಿಮಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಾಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಿಮಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ? ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ there are some courses and some training programs to become better parents. So maybe before you have children, you have to produce a certificate that you have actually been trained to be parents. So it is because it is not easy to bring up children in the modern world. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ಲೇಮರ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ I have constantly tried. I have tried to do. And I am aware. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದು, ಇದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೆಟ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಆರ್ ಅದರ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ದೈಹಿಕ ಆರೋಗ್ಯದ ವಿಷಯ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಮ್ಮಲು ನೆಗಡಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗು ಕೋಪಿಷ್ಟ, ಓದ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಹಳ ಆಲ್ಸಿ, ತುಂಬ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಈ ಥರ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸಲಹೆ ಕೇಳ್ಕೋಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಸೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ when you bring up your children, because it's not an easy job. So there is a difference between parenthood and parenting. Parenthood is a status. That is, parenthood is what marriage allows you. You may have children, you may adopt a child, so you become a parent. That is parenthood. It is also a relationship between you and the child. ಸೊ ಭಾಳ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್. ಯಾರು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್? ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್. ರಿವರ್ಸ್, ನಾಟ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್. ಮೆನಿ ಫಾದರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮದರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಡ್, ನಾವೇನ್ರಿ ನಮ್ಮ 14 ವಯಸ್ಸು ಹುಡುಗನಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ATM, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ATM. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಹೂ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮೀ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಐ ಬಿಕಮ್ ದ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ 18. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ದೆಮ್. I can take decisions by myself. That is not the relationship. That is not parenthood. So parenthood is to be taken as a relationship. ಆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದನೂ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇದು ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹದಿಹರಿಯದ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಡ್ರಾಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ವಿಡ್ರಾಲ್ಸು, ಆಲ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಔಟ್. ಸೊ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. That goodwill can happen in the early years of the childhood. So many parents will come and say, they think that parenting is a skill. ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಹೇಗ್ರಿ ಓದಿಸೋದು, ಹೇಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಸೋದು, ಮಾತನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಫುಲ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಫೇಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ taught our children correctly. So what matters is not the skill. What matters is the relationship that you have between both of you. So parenting is a hugely responsible task. It's usually undertaken automatically, but there is something called mindful parenting. We'll talk a little about mindful parenting. So in this connection, I wanted to read a small poem that was written by, he happens to be my brother actually. And many of my friends tell me that I am doing propaganda for him. So this is the parenting riddle. Will it be a question or an affirmation? Can you be what I want you to be, or I want you to be what you can be? And you will find that when we are parenting our children, oftentimes we want to do the first one, which is, can you be what I want you to be? We want our children to be what we want them to be, not to allow them to grow as what they want to do, what they want to be. So our aim must be largely a mixture of two, but we cannot live through our children. ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಅದು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. You cannot live your life through your children. you will have to see what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what makes them. That guidance is what you need to do, and that guidance is what you need to be giving them. In the animal kingdom, what is the period between childhood and adulthood? Very short. 6 months, 7 months, the little puppy becomes a mature dog. But human beings have a very long childhood and adolescence. Many years they are children and adolescents. This part of their brain is huge. It develops. It takes a long time to develop. They have complex abilities. This is meant for the brain to grow, to think. And this thinking and growth has to occur in a context of a relationship. It cannot happen in vacuum. They need to have good parents, good setup, good teachers, good people around them. Then that brain gets a lot of training. And that's what makes us human. And that is why children and adolescents, human beings, have this extra time of growth. And that has to be done by us in a relationship with the child. So I am talking about the attachment relationship that parents have to have with their children. See, I cannot, suppose somebody walking on the road, some child, I call him and I try to advise that child. The child would say, "Who are you to advise me? I'm not going to listen to you." I can advise and make an impact on somebody only if I have a relationship with that person. And that relationship between the child and the parent has to continue for a long time. I'm not saying make them dependent on you completely. I'm saying that relationship must be something that is very close and clinging as a child, but as you grow older, there's a psychological attachment that you have with the person that you have. That adult person and you have a relationship through which a lot of growth can occur. So suppose, for example, I say, I go to sleep in a new place. The first thing I get up in the morning and I will ask, where am I? What time is it? And I look around to see if there's any familiar person. This is called an orientation reflex. We orient towards something that is very familiar, that is ours. Children also have to constantly have that orienting towards the parents, towards the family. And that orientation must be something that becomes a part of them. If that orientation reflex is not there, and that attachment is not there, then there is a void. Void ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಂಪ್ಟಿನೆಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಯಾರು ಸಿಗದಿದ್ದರೆ ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. I have heard 10-year-old parents, children telling me, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆಗೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಡೀ ದಿವಸ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನೀವಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರು ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ. And ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ the child must come back to the family and must be able to discuss what happened. ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾವು ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ನಾನು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದೇರ್ ಪಿಯರ್, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್. ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. How do we prevent children getting attached terribly with their peers to the exclusion of their elders? You must put structures in place when you still have the power to do so. ಚಿಕ್ಕಂದ್ರಿಂದಲೇ ಒಂದು ಥರದ ನಿಯಮ ಇರಬೇಕು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರೋದು, ವಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಲ ನಾವು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ಥರ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. There must be some kind of rituals in the home. There must be some activities that is expected. The appa also has to respect that. If the appa says, ಬುಧವಾರ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ನಾವು ಯೂಶಲಿ ಹೊರಗೋಗೋದಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಪನೇ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಮಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಪ್ಪನೇ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತು ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆಯಿತು ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಎರಡನೇ ಬುಧವಾರ ಬಂತು, ಅಪ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಜುಲಿ ದ ರಿಚುವಲ್ಸ್ ಗೋ ಅವೇ. and there is no attachment then. It becomes Amma's kelsa to do whatever she wants with the son or the daughter. Appa is not around. So the boy and the girl in the family get an idea, ಅವರು ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದಾಗ ತಮ್ಮ ಮನೆತನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Because they haven't understood what is this need for the appa's attachment with them, for the activities that we do together. How this family stays together is when you do things together. So there's a great need when the child is young that you start these activities and attempt very religiously to continue doing them. The discipline that parents have is an important aspect. There is a great need for us to understand that in nuclear families, just the amma and appa at all times cannot handle children and all their needs. The father and mother must make it a point to see that they have good neighbors, they have good relatives. Not that they must go and stay there, but the father and mother must be in a position to say, I'm not there for half an hour, go and stay in Sunita auntie's house for half an hour. And Sunita auntie must know that I can look after these children because she has looked after my child sometimes. So you must have a good network around yourselves so that your child is not just your child, but there's a little small village or community which also looks after your child. Whereas with single children families now, we find that children don't know who their neighbors are. The mama, appa will say, Ali hogbeda, ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಡ, ನೀನು ಮನೇಲಿ ಒಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಇರೋ, but don't go outside. So you make the child unaware that there is a community out there, that there are groups of people who are my well-wishers. So we always believe that the family must have a community. And I look upon Rotary and organizations such as this, that when you bring your children and your families into this area, then that community feeling develops. So you understand, my child has one another person to look after if I'm not available. So there's a great need for time and attention. You will see, how am I doing for time? 10 more minutes. Okay, you will see that one must give the right kind of attention. I have children who mothers and fathers who say, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಗೇನ್ರಿ, ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆಗೇನೆ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. And I ask the maklu will say, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಚಪಾತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಚಪಾತಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಗಮನ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಾ, ಅದು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಾ, ಇದು ಮಾಡು ಅದು ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಣ್ಣು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕಣ್ಣು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ನೋಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟೈಮೇ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So there is a way of giving attention. Attention has a way. When somebody gives attention, not concentration ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಣ್ಣು ದಿಟ್ಟಿಸಿ ಹೀಗೆ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅದು ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್. ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಯು ಟೆನ್ಸ್. You concentrate for 15 minutes very hard and you will find all your muscles aching and your back aching and everything. It's not concentration. We are saying give attention. When you give attention, you are just absorbing what the child does. You're playing nice. So you're fully there. The child knows you're fully giving attention. So there's a great need to give children attention and time. I won't have the time to go through this. I only want to say that concentration tires you. Giving good attention rejuvenates you. So you must know the difference of giving attention to your children. So there's a great need to give time and attention. When we parent depending upon what kind of people we are. It depends on our personality. If I'm upset with my husband, will I have attention for my child? That anger of my husband will go on my child also. So everybody is upset at home. So it depends, when I parent my child, it depends upon what kind of state of mind I am. So parenting is a bi-directional relationship. And therefore I want to spend a little time on what is mindful parenting. What is mindful parenting? There are 3 key factors. When you are parenting, notice your own feelings. By the time you bring up your children, parents must have become better versions of themselves. Because you become a better person when you have parented your child. You understand how you get angry, when you get angry, what makes you angry, what must keep you calm. You must notice your own feelings. Learn to pause before responding in anger. You have to learn to pause. Human beings have one difference. from animals. They can stop and think. They can stop and decide what to do next. You have choice. You have a chance to make a choice. Choice is inevitable. You have to make a choice. But you can pause and make the choice, not make that choice in anger. Because children have to learn from you. What do they have to learn? They have to learn how to emotionally regulate themselves. ಯಾಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ತೆಗೆದು ಬೀಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು ಯಾಕೆ ಕೈ ತೆಗೆದ್ರಿ ಬೀಸಿದ್ರಿ. There is a need for all of us to be emotionally regulated. If we can regulate our emotions, our children will look at us and also regulate their emotions. So I want to say that all children, 20% of children have some trouble or other. All children are not 100% okay, just like all of us are not 100% okay. They have troubles. 20% of children have troubles. They have all kinds of troubles. And I want to tell you that academic troubles, reading, writing, spelling, math, those kind of troubles are quite significant. They are unrecognized by people. And the children suffer as a consequence. Children can also have these kind of problems. And lots of children have them, but they are not recognized. Children, I want to tell you, also undergo a lot of adverse childhood experiences. ನಾನು ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಏನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೀವು ಹೀಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬಾರ್ದು, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮ್ಲೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಭಾಳ ತೊಂದರೆ ಉಳ್ಳ ಫ್ಯಾಮ್ಲೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗೋದು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಥರದ ಫ್ಯಾಮ್ಲೀಸಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈ ಥರದ ತೊಂದರೆಯಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುವ ಕಾರಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್. You must be able to take help. Children who face adversity and then can do very well, they are resilient children. They are children who can face consequences later. There is a great need for us to understand that these are the features of children who are strong and resilient. I want to make use of the last point, which is the sense of humor. A sense of humor is something that children have to learn sometimes, and that they learn from their families. A sense of humor allows the child to face adversity. I am almost done. I want to tell you about James Heckman. James Heckman was a Nobel Prize winner in economics. He got this prize because he demonstrated that there is a vast savings to society if children are looked after well from poor and disadvantaged families. If these children are looked after well, they have a very good chance of doing well. I want to wish that organizations of Rotary, which has served to change lives as its motto, has a big role to play in serving to change the lives of children who come from disadvantaged background. So our children may not gain from this, but society gains from it, and therefore indirectly all of us gain if our children and children who are coming from poor and disadvantaged background are in a position to get good education, good health care, and if their mothers are happy. Because it's hard for mothers to be happy in single mother households where children are not educated and children are very needy. I want to end by saying, what are the things we can do at the family level? At our family level, what can we do for our children? Parents must make time to interact with their children, not buy things. Can buy things, but that can't be the sole way of interaction. You must be able to communicate with your children. Marital conflicts between husband and wife must become less. Children are greatly troubled by trouble between their parents. Great need to reduce TV and screen time. There must be rules in the house of how a TV and a screen times are taken care of. You must be able to give children work at home. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಮನೆ ನಾನು ಗುಡಿಸೋದು ಒರೆಸೋದು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಬೆಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಟೇಬಲ್ ಲೇ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಟೇಬಲಿಂದ ತೆಗೆದು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತೊಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ವಾಷಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಕ್ಲೋತ್ಸ್, ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಸಲ ನನಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಅಪ್ಪ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಪ್ಪನೇ ಅಮ್ಮ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಂಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Children must learn to do. I can assure you that children and parents here, once the child goes into the US, to Sweden, to Canada, ಭಾಳ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ನಮ್ಮ ಹುಡುಗ ತಾನೇ ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ರೀ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ರೆ ಪರೋಟ ಮುಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ. Can't be. They must be doing tasks at home. I shall tell you, that brings about closer attachment. Attachment is greater when you are doing work together, talking together, finishing something together. Parents must try to be good models, role models themselves, and they should be in a position to emotionally regulate very good models. And of course, I've spoken about it. I end by saying a poem which I usually say. If I had a chance to raise my child again, if I could raise my child again, I'd build self-esteem first and the house later. I'd finger paint more and point the finger less. I would do less correcting and more connecting. I take my eyes off my watch and I will watch with my eyes. I would take more hikes and fly more kites. I'd stop playing serious and seriously play. I would run through more fields and gaze at more stars with my children. I would do more hugging and less tugging. Thank you.